morning. In this wonderful university, in this rather cold auditorium, I'm sort of feeling very honored to be here. It's rare that one gets a chance to speak to young people, so it's an opportunity I cherish. Today, I'm going to be just sharing some thoughts about my journey with you, and I promise that I will not bore you too much. I'm 53 years old. And as a journalist, I've had the privilege of witnessing history in the making. I was managing editor of one of India's leading news channels, NDTV 24/7. I worked with over 250 journalists and newsroom staff covering events like, a lot of you may or may not remember the IC-814 Kandahar hijacking. Some of you may have been very young. The faculty may remember. The Gujarat earthquake, the Kargil war, the devastating tsunami that hit India and South Asia. And I think practically every election from 1996 to 2019. And currently, I work with Decoder. That's a platform that Prannoy Roy has started as a consulting editor, so that electoral journey continues. So what are the stories that I will be telling you today, or anecdotes? You may think they would be, extremely adrenaline pumping, exciting, extraordinary events. Yes, some of them were, but what I do want to discuss is the ordinary today, the extraordinary in the ordinary. And I think the beauty and the fulfillment that you find in what is often perceived as mundane or normal. We live in a very fast-paced world. Today, I know the gentleman who's doing all the cameras here said, nobody's got to get a phone out. Otherwise, a lot of us would currently be, even if we don't want to, it's such an automatic habit that we would all be looking at our phones. Somebody told me a very interesting anecdote the other day, and he said that recently God asked a couple of people up there, I don't know, heaven or hell, he says, why is everybody coming to me nowadays like this? Okay? Because guess what? That's what we are all nowadays, right? It's about the phone. We're not really looking up. We're not connecting people to people. And that's just some of the things I wanted to talk to you about, because every time that you look at a screen, on your phone, whether it's an Insta or any other social platform app, there is this glorification of extraordinary achievements, right? There are these influencers who are living up their incredible, glamorous lives. But what about those very seemingly ordinary lives? When you're just working, right? Is that monotonous? Does that not work for all of us? Does it make our lives any less fulfilling? When I worked for NDTV, it was 24/7 of very often doing the same thing, getting the news, putting it out, figuring it out. I think one of the worst moments was COVID. I think it was really bad for a lot of people. But as journalists, the world had shut down, but we still went to work every day. It was just another day at office. You didn't have the privilege or the luxury of being at home. You still had to go. It wasn't glamorous. It was extremely difficult. It was mundane. And we hated it at times. But we persevered. I think whether it was doctors, it was journalists, they persevered. And we just put our heads down and we got on with the job. And I think that is what I want to sort of really focus on today. Getting on with it, because that's really the extraordinary. The value add that you're making every day of just doing what you are meant to do or asked to do. I remember after film school, a lot of my friends moved to Bombay. They're currently very well-known directors, filmmakers. And I often thought, does that mean that my life is any less meaningful? Is it lacking joy? So what is joy? Is joy like, is something that's the same for everyone? I don't think so. I think it's like the one shoe doesn't fit all concept. Joy is like that. It's deeply personal and it's deeply subjective. Definitions of joy are simply descriptions of the way people want to use the word. So when I say I want to define joy for you, I ask, whose joy are you talking about? And what is the use of the word we are discussing? I'm sure a lot of you here have seen Patal Lok, right? Have you seen Patal Lok, the TV series? Sudeep Sharma's thing. It's very interesting, not just because it's a great television series, it's a great plot, but it doesn't follow a typical hero journey, right? It's not a great happy ending, but the hero is on a relentless quest for truth. It's a narrative that is, in a way, the pursuit of truth in your life. What is it that you are seeking? There's another series, and the reference to pop culture, I'm hoping, will help you connect with what I'm talking about. There is a series called Black Warrant. Again, it chronicles ordinary lives in extraordinary circumstances. Every time we think, what is the jailer really doing, right? He's going every day. We never think of it. But when you look at it, look at the incredible life that they're leading. And it is outside of influencers. It is outside of glamorous images. It's outside of forceful messages that are constantly bombarding you. I think the point is that we all live extraordinary lives in the most ordinary ways. I think it's wonderful, but somehow in today's day and age, for a lot of you, there is constant pressure for validation. It's amplified by your smartphones. And it's also very interesting when I see around and I see a lot of parents and elders telling the kids, get off your smartphones, while they're glued onto it themselves, right? So the question really is, how do you want to stand out in a world that is consumed by screens, that is consumed by pressure from outside? I can't tell you what to do. I can't. We all have to decide that. But what I do want you to sort of think about is, what is it that you truly want from your life? And what are you willing to do to achieve it? Someone recently reminded me of a famous poem, and if any of you are into poetry, by a famous Urdu poet called Faiz. And I think it encapsulates the essence of life beautifully. I'll recite it for you in Urdu, and then we'll go through the English translation in case some of you don't get it. Faiz says, वो लोग बहुत खुशकिस्मत थे जो इश्क को काम समझते थे या काम से आशिकी करते थे. हम जीते जी मसरूफ रहे, कुछ इश्क किया, कुछ काम किया. काम इश्क के आड़े आता रहा और इश्क से हम समझते रहे कि काम उलझता रहा. I think I've sort of messed it up a bit. But आखिरकार हम तंग आकर हमने दोनों को अधूरा छोड़ दिया. ना इश्क किया, ना काम किया. So for those who didn't understand, he said, I loved a little and I worked a little. Those were very fortunate people who were in love with their work, or they just were in love with love, or their loved ones. I remained busy all my life. I loved a little, I worked a little. Sometimes love was a snag in the way of my work, and sometimes my duty didn't allow me to love with the passion I wanted to. Ultimately, I left both my love and my work incomplete. Don't take it literally, because I think Faiz, the eternal romantic he wasn't talking about work or love. He was speaking about passion. Discovering what is your passion. Discovering what is it that you really want to do. Or are you satisfied by the lack of passion, and that's fine too. Not everybody has to be passionate about something or the other. Personally, I'm not passionate about anything in particular, but I love people. I love working with people. I love teams. And I love the thrill of working with others, and that's what drives me. So here again, what is it that drives you? I understand that at your age, this very 18 to 23, or even beyond that, I think, it's natural to not know what you're searching for, not have clarity. And I think sometimes we feel extremely overwhelmed. Okay, there's constant noise. What is my friend doing? What are my parents saying? What is that influencer on Instagram saying? But I think, again, the key is shut it all out, look within. Everyone's going to tell you what to do. Again, your parents are going to hate me for this, but ask questions. Do your research and then decide. Don't take things for granted. Don't say just because I'm being told something, that's what is right. Again, I've been referencing pop culture. So there's a great Julia Roberts film called Mona Lisa's Smile. And I encourage all of you to watch it because it teaches us to question status quo. It teaches us not to judge something we don't understand. It teaches us to be curious and say, okay, I don't understand this. This is something I haven't seen. It's different from what I know, what I've known all my life. But let me understand it. Let me keep a dialogue going. And I think more than ever in a world filled with noise and polarization and people telling you what to do, I think for all of you young people is to just think. Think once, think twice, think again. Take your time. But ask those questions, do your research. Don't accept things that are just coming at you. And keep the dialogue going with each other, with people you don't know, people you don't like. Because one day, those walls will come down, the walls that you thought are sort of keeping you from each other, and you'll understand. You'll understand with clarity that you never had before. I think in a world that is constantly evolving, this will give you the ability to adapt and to grow. I was just talking to a colleague of mine, and we were talking about disruptors. When I was growing up, the internet was the biggest disruptor, and everyone thought it's going to bring the world together. And if you're a student of geopolitics, or if you just follow the headlines, the world today is more isolationary than ever before, despite the means of everybody coming together. So I think there are always going to be disruptors, more than ever now, whether it's with quantum computing or AI. So the ability to adapt and to grow will be invaluable for you. Have that. Have that, and a lot of it will come through questioning. Again, think about the values and principles that guide you. What is non-negotiable for you? What is it something that you will absolutely not do? Follow that. Sometimes saying no is more important than saying yes. Okay? Identify all of that. Again, I'm saying look within. What is it that will align with you? What is it that you want? And embrace challenges. Again, I am not saying that it's all about I can do this and I can't do that. Maybe something new is something you'll really enjoy. So step out of your comfort zones. Embrace challenges. Think about what makes you uncomfortable. Because a lot of times, experiences that do not, that make you fearful, okay? That will say, oh my God, how am I going to do this? Can I get up tomorrow morning? I'm really scared. That may be the experience that you've really been waiting for. Because if you stumble, you will grow. If life has just been a piece of cake, what have you really learned? Failure is something that will make you grow. I have to say that, again, in my career of over 30 years, I have constantly seen people rise and fall. There were times we thought everything is over, nothing is going to be the same again. And guess what? The world didn't end, the sun rose again, and we overcame, we got on with life. This is my last pop culture reference, I promise. But Tom Hanks, the famous actor, once said that the one lesson he wished he had known when he was young is that if you're feeling really bad, if you're feeling really angry, you're feeling really pissed, it will pass, okay? Don't worry, it will pass. If you're feeling really happy, you think you know it all, you're on top of the world, that too will pass. Because nothing, my friend, will stay forever. Everything is changing, everything will change, but you will get on with your lives. You will overcome. If nothing else, time is your friend. So just breathe, okay? And I know, in that 18 to whatever, 30 phase now, anxiety, breakups, relationships, the pressure of job, assignment, conducting TEDx, all of that is so whatever. Breathe. It's going to be fine. So again, discovery, resilience, determination, embracing uncertainty, and finding strength in your vulnerability, okay? Where is it that you feel you're lacking? Make that your strength, and it will happen. I'm going to end this by saying the extraordinary is not measured by your phone. It is not measured by engagement, likes, and views. It's not. Nor by your followers. I know you'll get sort of, excitement through the post or that real hit when somebody likes it. Move on. It's found in people you will genuinely connect with. It will be found in conversations you'll remember 20 years from now. It will be found in when you understand yourselves and others. And it will be found in moments that you will cherish for a lifetime. And that's beyond the reach of any algorithm, okay? Whatever it is, AI is going to get smarter, computing will reach levels we will never know, but people will connect with people, and those are the connections that will always, always remain. So, as you navigate this journey called life, remember that the extraordinary lies within the ordinary. Embrace it, and you'll discover a world that is truly worthy of you. Thank you so much. Thank you.